Oh my gosh, some of my earliest memories include the bars. Ken and Jean were the first people to ever ask us to call them Ken and Jean instead of Mr. and Mrs. Barr. It felt so special and grown up and like family.
Granny Barr's shortbread cookies were the best ever, especially on Christmas Eve.
One time the Bars and the Butterworths were staying at Tremblant, and Kat and I went out to the base of the mountain and had too much to drink. And Dad and Ken were sent to the lodge to come and get us, and they walked us home, and we could hear them laughing at us behind us. And I remember jumping down the set of stairs just before the entrance to our condo and getting inside, and Mum and Jean were just staring daggers at us. And when we went to go into the bunk bedroom, Kara was so mad at us because we'd been drinking. Mum and Jean had decided that we were going to cancel our shopping day for the next day, and Kara was just so mad because we'd ruined the day of shopping.
Some of my favorite memories are exploring your farm and being nervous but curious about Chester. I can remember one time that we'd been told not to slide down the barn roof, but we decided to because we were sure we weren't going to get caught. And then I happened to get caught on a nail and was stuck up on the roof. And the only way to get free was for one of you to come and save me. And I was nervous about getting in trouble, but I was really sad that I had wrecked my favorite pink jogging pants.
I remember driving to Breckenridge in the 80s for a March break week of skiing. We drove through the night and following day sardined into the GMC 9-passenger van, arriving in Denver around midnight Denver time, and we stopped at the first motel we found in the hope they had some rooms available. Ken and I went into the office to ask if they had room for us. The clerk looked at her watch and said if we return in about 45 minutes, they could take us. I remember the look of utter horror on Ken's face as it dawned on him that we had unwittingly stopped in a red light district. We thanked the clerk and laughed, laughing as we got back into the van and drove to a Holiday Inn.
Our Breckenridge ski trip, one with 5 kids in our big old brown van, were holidays full of adventure. Who, in their right minds, would drive nonstop from Perth to Denver? Who? The bus bars, of course. I recall trips to the fish camp, times of laughter and good times, and always good food. I remember getting the giggles as I was to be sleeping beside 2 men, one on my left and another on my right.
I remember so many wonderful times at Kamloops Camp. Ken introduced me to Kamloops Camp in the 70s. I loved the place from the moment I arrived as Ken's guest. It was, for me, the advent of 50 years of good times and great memories, and continues today as the camp enters the year of its 70th anniversary. It was my privilege to take Ken back to the camp for a day trip in the fall. Although we didn't need help to fuel the conversation, the 50 years of memories certainly provided the fodder. We drove there on the new route through Snow Road, Plevna, and Vanacker, and back on the old route, Highway 41 to Caladar and east on 7. Our stroll through the camp and lunch in the car beside Mazenau Lake added great luster to a very enjoyable trip.
We had so much fun as families. Disney at the top of the list, skiing in Colorado, trips to Tremblant, and trips to the fish camp that were always so much fun. I don't know. Much of my childhood is wrapped up in Butterworth Barr memories, and I'm just so thankful to have all of them. Love you guys.
How do you tell your kids about a surprise holiday to Disney World? Why, through charades, of course. The puzzle was solved, and within seconds, one small bar girl burst into tears. I don't have anything to wear.
I remember one time at the fish camp where all the kids were sleeping in the loft above the boathouse, and Ken went underneath into the boathouse and started making ghost noises. Oh my God, you could probably hear the squeals and laughter all over the lake. It was so good.